Who's watching your money right now? Hey, you're gonna love this one today. Think about this idea. You go in and meet with a financial advisor, and one of the questions that really ought to be asked is a question like this. Is you're coming in to supposedly maybe become a client of theirs. Well, think about this idea. You're sitting with them, and let's say it's 10:30, and you're talking to them, and you ask a question like, hey, do you have a lot of clients like me? You know, I'm in my 50s, I've saved money, I've got a pretty good sized portfolio. Do you have other clients in my age group with similar priorities and things? And of course, they're gonna look at you, and if they're wearing a tie, they'll probably straighten and go, oh yes, I have many clients like this. So do you have a lot of clients that are, let's call it medium net worth? I wouldn't call myself high net worth, but you know, I've saved $1 million or 500,000 or 2 million, something like that. And could you imagine the advisor looking at you and going, oh, absolutely, absolutely. Say, well, cool. Let me ask you a question then, Bobby, Ricky, Sally, whatever their name is. It's 10:30 and the markets are open. Who's watching your current client's money? Isn't that kind of an amazing question? Think about it. I mean, obviously they're not watching because they're in with you. So who is actually watching the money? Well, most people don't realize this when they work with a lot of the big box retail firms, and not say anything bad about them either. These are very good firms. But what's happened is you've decided to join them, and they've sold you some gadgets and widgets and other things for your portfolio, mutual funds, whatever it is, to make the portfolio perform the way you'd like. And then it's in this model, this 60-40 model, this 70-30, 80-20, whatever it is. And of course, all these major companies have things that are watching the markets and things like that. But let's kind of describe what would happen if the market, say, dropped 30%. A terrifying thought, but it's happened many, many times. The average market drawdown can be 30%. So now all of a sudden this happens, and it happens quickly. Maybe it's an event, a geopolitical event or something else that breaks the system and markets start going down. Well, now we've got to rebalance your portfolio, buy, sell, do something. So when do you get that phone call discussing what changes you and your wife may need to make? Well, this is when it's hard. Imagine if that advisor had 400 clients. Phone calls are coming in like crazy. And naturally, they would want to call their largest client first. It only makes sense. They have the most money with them. When do you actually get your call? I guess it might depend on, are you one of the favorites? Maybe you're the next door neighbor, so that would be important. You don't want to make him too mad or her too mad. This is when it gets really tough for financial advisors. And there are ways for this to be done differently. And this is the thing that really just kind of blows my mind, is that people don't even understand how this system works. This is where everybody needs more education on exactly how these quote models, whether it's just a 60-40 or a 70-30 or whatever it is, or if you're working with an advisor that's been more selective and helped you in this range. Are you actually working with a stockbroker at your current firm? Or are you working with a licensed fiduciary advisor? And what systems are in place when markets do things none of us like? Many people don't recognize the idea that when you have mutual funds in your portfolio, and I'm not discussing the validity of them, good, bad, or indifferent, or all the expenses, internal, external, we're not doing that in this video. But do you understand that, let's say you decide, hey, we do have to make changes. This thing's going down, it's going down quick. So at 10:30, you just say, hey, you know what, just go ahead and liquidate about 20% of those mutual funds so I have a good cash amount right now. And that way it'll protect me, and then I'll figure out what I'm gonna do next. Would you know at 10:30, when you sell that mutual fund, the price is set at close of the market that day? Think of how far it could drop between 10:30 and close of business in a bad market. There's so much of this that people just simply don't know. And it becomes very scary when they start seeing a video like this that goes, oh my gosh, and I'm not trying to cause worry or fear. But I do think it's time we become the CEOs of our wealth, of our financial portfolio, and also work with the firms that can explain it in a manner that we can understand, so we truly understand the risks that we're taking. or we understand what's going to happen in a bad market and how that's going to happen, and then make sure we're prepared for the results that would come out of that. One of the first things I find is most people don't even have any idea of the amount of risk they're taking. They've asked for a moderate portfolio, whatever that might mean, or an aggressive one. But again, someone's level of aggressiveness would be completely different than mine. Think about that. You might say, I want to be an aggressive investor. Great. Well, does that mean you're prepared for a 20% loss, a 30% loss, a 40% in the right market? I personally have had a portfolio that went down over 50% in the right market. Now that's a different level of aggressiveness, but I haven't done that with all my money. I've done it with a portfolio that I'm very comfortable knowing that at some point in the right market, it could drop 50%. But you know, as one of my best friends and advisors taught me once, he's out of New York, he said, Mark, as long as the juice is worth the squeeze. Well, in that example, with that bucket of money that I have a very high level of aggressiveness on, in good markets, it's been incredible how well it's done. So in my opinion, the juice has been worth the squeeze. But do you even know where you're at and what would happen in the right markets? This is where, again, we have to become the CEO of your portfolio. Hey, you know what to do now. I gotta ask, but hit that like and subscribe button. Give me some comments in the feedback section. Let me know what you want me to talk about. But this helps the algorithms, gets this content out to more people.